Azazam?
Azazam, yeah.
That's fantastic, is it?
Well, I didn't get a chance
grower.
I didn't get a chance to really listen. No, I did. I heard it before, but yeah.
Is that any good?
Yeah, well, I didn't get a chance to play it.
Okay, but you have heard it before, Lee. Why are you being purposely...
No, I'm just being skittery, being a Wayne, big babby. Do you know?
I'm Still Standing was going to be next. That would have been a better choice.
Would you like Elton John? I'd play that for you tomorrow.
Nah, keep it young.
Keep it young?
Keep it young.
Yeah.
Keep it young and fresh.
Yes. Look at you. Keep it fresh. Yeah, all right. Do you like your vegetables, do you?
No.
We don't time to talk about that.
No.
Lettuce.
I like vegetables, but they have to be like covered in sugar or salt or honey or something.
Vegetables? You joking? And a stir fry or something?
I don't mind them in stir fry, but say for instance, like carrots or turnips. If you bake them in honey and all that kind of stuff. But I think they lose any of their nutritional benefits at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. When's the last time you had a wee piece of lettuce? And a sandwich, you get a bit of a crunch in it.
Oh no problem with that. But that's not vegetables. That's fine. That's different.
What's vegetables? What's a lettuce then?
Well, it is a
it's
vegetable,
not a fruit.
but it's like it's.
It's what? It's water.
It's water, yeah. It's fine, but I don't think there's any nutritional benefit in me putting a bit of lettuce on my ham sandwich.
No, but you get the taste
Especially
in it.
the amount of butter I put on it.
Do you?
Oh, I love
Need to
butter.
get off that butter. I'm on a thing. What is it?
Everything is butter. Crackers. Anything I eat with butter on is literally just to get the butter into me.
Is it? See, I remember sitting in the hospital bed, right, and there was a patient on the other side, and the consultant came around to this gentleman, right, and he says, "Do you take much butter in your toast?" He says, "I do." And the consultant, can't remember if it was male or female, says, "Can you see your teeth when you bite into your piece of toast or what?" He says, yeah, I can. Well, that's far too much butter then.
I don't want to talk about that. That's depressing. What about if you let it melt into the bread and you can't see
I
it
love
then?
melted butter on the toast. Then you don't see the butter.
Well, mine's worse. I burn it, let it go cold, and then just tip the tub of butter on top of it.
Oh, stop that.
Anyway, listen, I better go because I haven't had any toast and I'm starving. All right, 9:01. Let's get a news update and cross over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. The Dáil has been told that Housing Minister James Brown's trip to Donegal earlier this week was significant and gave the Minister a clear picture of the situation faced by defective concrete homeowners and their families. Speaking during a motion on housing and critical infrastructure, 100% Redress TD Charles Ward said, having met with affected homeowners, Minister Brown must now come up with an appropriate scheme.
It's very positive engagement with the 100% Redress Party and homeowners impacted by defective concrete. With the homeowners and particularly the downgraded homeowners, the Elm Park homeowners who are seeking relocation, and people given the wrong engineering option. I hope now he realises the devastation caused by this. I would urge the Minister now to go away, reflect on the visit and come back with a better defective concrete scheme that absolutely leaves no one behind.
The Dáil's been told an issue which prevents the use of some stretchers on board the new Coast Guard helicopter service is being addressed. The Augusta Westland AW189 is used by Bristow Ireland Limited, the company which has won the contract to operate search and rescue missions and provide HEMS, Helicopter Emergency Medical Services. The new service is already in place in Shannon. It becomes operational in Sligo at the end of this year. Minister Sean Canny says an issue has been identified in Shannon and steps are being taken to resolve it. He was responding in the Dáil to Donegal Deputy Pat the Cope Gallagher, who said island communities in particular are very concerned.
There are concerns that stretchers may not, and I'll just say this, may not fit into the helicopters they have in the past. And if one has a heart attack or one has spinal injuries, of course a stretcher is absolutely essential.
In April of this year, BIL was notified by the IAA that the stretcher in use by Bristow was not yet fully certified for HEMS activity. This temporary HEMS stretcher restriction only applies to the Shannon base. I understand that Bristow has identified a replacement solution and expects to issue this shortly.
Police have made an arrest and seized suspected Class A drugs in Derry. The arrest and seizure were made at 20 to 8 last evening during a patrol in the Spencer Road area of the Waterside. The suspected drugs were seized along with items of drug-related paraphernalia. A 22-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of possession and being concerned in the supply of Class A controlled drugs. And Gardaí say they're aware of content circulating online about the crash which killed a member of the force at the weekend. Garda Kevin Flatley died in the line of duty on Sunday afternoon in Dublin. With more, here's Stephanie Rowan.
Garda Kevin Flatley was conducting a speed checkpoint at Lisenhall near Swords on Sunday afternoon when he was struck by a motorcyclist. The death of the dad of 2 young daughters has shocked the force, with his funeral due to take place on Friday. Gardaí say they're aware of content online which claims to give an eyewitness account of what happened. They say this commentary is completely inaccurate and has no basis whatsoever in fact. They also say the misinformation risks diverting their resources and time from what is a complex and ongoing investigation. Gardaí say they've made social media companies aware of the misinformation and it's up to them to comment on requests from the force to remove it.
Weather forecast: warm and sunny today. Top temperatures 19 to 22 degrees Celsius with a light to moderate easterly wind. And that's Highland Radio News. Check all the latest news on our website, highlandradio.com. We're back again with news at 10 o'clock.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. Time for the talk of the Northwest, The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning to you. It is approaching 5 minutes past 9 on this Wednesday, the 14th of May, 2025. How are you all keeping? I really do hope you are very well indeed, and we look forward to having you on board the 9 till Noon Show train, the only train running in Donegal today for the next 3 hours. And we have our phone lines open for you. We've got lots coming up in the programme, lots to talk about, but we always welcome your input, your comments, your issues that you raise, the good news you wish to pass on, anything that we can help you with. 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number. It is not a club. You can text in at any stage if you've never texted in before. Your view or what you're going through or what you want to talk about is as important as the next person's, okay? So if you've never texted us before and you have a view or an opinion or a topic, please get in touch with us. 07491 25,000 is the telephone number. Caroline Orr and Shannon Wilkins taking your calls today. And you can email comments at highlandradio.com. Now, we'll start with a look at the Finn Valley Voice this morning. Almost half of Ireland's road traffic fatalities this year have involved vulnerable road users. And you're being invited to have your say on Finn Valley speed limits. Run down a pedestrian at 60 kilometres per hour and there's a 50 to 90% chance that they will be killed. Run them down at 30 kilometres per hour and the risk drops to below 3%. That is the stark reality behind Donegal County Council's decision to undertake a speed limit review of all public roads in town, villages and settlements with an existing speed limit of 60 kilometres per hour. And that consultation, it's a non-statutory consultation at this stage actually. I meant to mention this yesterday, went live on the council's website yesterday. So if you want to go on to their website and see where off the top of my head, I think there's 110, something like that, 110, 108 settlements that were being reviewed, and there are proposals to change speed limits on circa half of those. So it could be in your area, Duncanany, for an example, Letterkenny Main Street. Have a look around and have your say. It's the non-statutory stage, so it's one of the first stages, but eventually these changes will be implemented. But that's live on the council website as of today. The Irish Times this morning: promised tax cuts in the budget may have to be jettisoned if the EU fails to secure a tariff deal with the US. Minister of State for International Development Neil Richmond has warned. Speaking in advance of the launch of a new report on the state's bilateral trade with Germany, Mr. Richmond said the shock to global trade from US tariffs had left the Irish economy in a tight situation and that October's budget will be very different to its predecessors. Mr. Richmond's comments represent a growing school of thought in government that believes it would be fiscally reckless to repeat the windfall budget of recent years at a time of such economic uncertainty. And the cynic in you might suggest, well, there is no election, so why do a giveaway budget? But anyway, that is one of the concerns. But look, things happen very quick with Donald Trump. Look at the deal he struck with China very recently. They've got a 90-day pause on the worst elements of their tariff war. He's over in the UAE, Riyadh, etc., striking deals over there. So I'm sure he'll stop off in Europe at some point, and hopefully the worst of those tariffs, a negotiated agreement can be reached there. Those of you living in the Milford area have been under a hosepipe ban for a week or so now, but it could be extended Hosepipe bans introduced in several parts of the country last week appear to have dampened local demand for water, but Uisce Éireann has 17 other areas in difficulty and all supplies are being closely monitored. The strain on water supplies illustrates one of the challenges that come with having good weather. While most people will be greeting the current run of clear blue skies and warm sunny days as a joy, between the high temperatures and low rainfall lies a middling anxiety. Now, there is no rain forecast for the next 10 days. That's the reality. Special appeals are being made in Donegal because of our water supply being under pressure. And they are in Letterkenny, Buncrana, Ballybofey, Stranraer, Carragart and Downings. Now, whilst there is no hosepipe ban in those areas at this point, those are areas where water is potentially running low. And it goes back to that question that I put to the Housing Minister at the start of the week. You know, we talk about housing this, housing that, delivery this, delivery the other. I mean, how could you sanction the construction of 50 houses in Letterkenny or Buncrana or Carragart for that matter when the water is under severe pressure after a couple of weeks of dry weather or even a dry winter? You know, the infrastructure just simply is not there. And as I said to him at that time, you know, this is going to be our greatest challenge to get people into houses. His response is, well, we're giving Uisce Éireann lots of money to invest. But, you know, when do we see the benefits of that? So just to recap, Milford already in a hosepipe ban, but special appeals are being made to residents in Letterkenny, Buncrana, Ballybofey, Stranraer, Carragart and Downings in Donegal because there's severe pressure on the local water supplies there. And at least 3 of those places are areas that need a lot of additional stroke social housing. So it would make you wonder, wouldn't it, especially if we continue to get dry weather. On to the Irish Daily Mail now, and staying with housing to some extent. Their front page, cuts to payments for pledging accommodation for Ukrainian refugees means the state may have to pay millions more to house them in hotels, guest houses and B&Bs. Internal documents obtained by the paper show officials in the Department of Public Expenditure are concerned about the knock-on effect from cutting the monthly payment from €800 to €600 last February. In a memo prepared for Minister for Public Expenditure Jack Chambers, they warned there is a risk this could undermine ongoing efforts to reduce reliance on expensive commercial accommodation. Immigration Minister Noma Foley wrote to Mr Chambers in February seeking to reduce the accommodation recognition payment, a cut that takes effect from June. So it's not in yet. Mr Foley said the reduction sought to balance maintaining the scheme while minimising interference with the private rental market. That's a concern that's been expressed locally here, of course. She added, reducing the payment will facilitate winding down the scheme in an orderly way in advance of the temporary protection directive. But I think they're missing a point here in that there's lots of people already topping up and the officials are suggesting refugees pay a top up to hosts. Well, that's already happening, right? So the private rental sector is already skewed because you can offer a landlord 250, 300 quid on top of the 6, and that's a tidy little package, mostly tax-free. Still gives you a great advantage over someone not in receipt of the APP. I just wonder, and I'm sure there are those affected by this latest medical controversy, and maybe you are affected by this. Maybe you got one of these letters I'm going to talk about, and maybe you could help us understand how it feels or what it might mean. Taoiseach Micheál Martin said there is no final timeline for when a report on potentially unnecessary hip surgeries for children will be received. He added, some of the implications are disturbing if what has been alleged turns out to be true. The Ditch previously reported unnecessary procedures had been conducted on children under the care of Children's Health Ireland. Health Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill confirmed an audit of children who had hip dysphasia surgery is being undertaken. While an audit of surgeries carried out between 2021 and 2023 is underway, letters have been sent out to parents about operations as far back as 2005. In the Dáil, Sinn Féin leader Mary Lou McDonald questioned when the report would be published, as she said the party had been contacted by parents at their wits' end. So I'm just wondering if you are affected by this. Maybe you got one of the letters, maybe you welcome the review, maybe your child went through unimaginable pain for them at that time, and you're wondering, did they really need to go through this operation at all? There's also a suggestion that should be regular checkups up until the age of 15 or 16. Maybe that hasn't happened with you. So it's critical, it's important, and what it does is it throws out uncertainty. So whether your child is or isn't affected, if you got one of these letters or you think you are affected, you're going to be anxious, aren't you? 086 60 25,000, if you can give us an insight from your own perspective into that. I would hope no one listening has gone through that. I hope you understand that. But if you have, and maybe you want to share your story, 07491 25,000 is a number that you can call as well. And talking of raising our little bundles of joy, it's costing more and more and more. The cost of raising a child from the cradle to college has jumped by 60% in the last decade, costing parents an extra 65 grand. A new survey found that the cost was €105,000 in 2015, but has now reached a staggering €169,000. Food, college fees and rent support account for the biggest outlays and add up to $15,000 a year. A mum of two, Kel Gallivan, who is a financial expert and money coach, said the new figures from health insurer Leia Life's Cradle to College Cost Index highlight the evolving financial landscape for Irish families. €170,000 from birth to if they go on to third level. Lastly, the Gerry Adams trial is ongoing. It's not his trial, of course. He's taking an action against the BBC. It's reported in The Sun and other papers this morning. A source who told the BBC that Gerry Adams sanctioned a murder would likely be killed if identified, a court heard. Spotlight reporter Jennifer O'Leary made the claim at the High Court yesterday. She said at least two other sources told her the Provisional IRA were behind the murder of MI5 agent Dennis Donaldson and not dissident Republicans. As you would know, the former Sinn Féin leader, Gerry Adams, is suing the BBC for defamation. He claims the 2016 Spotlight documentary defamed him by falsely accusing him of sanctioning the 2006 killing of Mr. Donaldson in Glenties. The BBC denies it defamed Mr. Adams, who insists he had no involvement in Mr. Donaldson's death, which dissident Republicans claimed responsibility for in 2009. But explaining how the doc came about, Ms. O'Leary said she met a well-placed Republican source in late 2015 who said the Provos were actually behind the murder, and the BBC journalist said a security source was later met repeating the claim. Ms. O'Leary said she first met Martin, the anonymous source who claimed in the doc that Mr. Adams okayed the murder in February of 2016, but the reporter said she was constrained in the detail she could share about Martin. She said it's rare to have a source where if his identity is revealed, it is likely he will be killed. Ms. O'Leary denied claims she had animus towards Mr. Adams, insisting, I didn't have any agenda against Gerry Adams. And it continues. It's funny, they say two. I think I saw a report in another paper that said she had said that she had 15 up to 5 additional sources in relation to that. Okay, that continues. We'll keep you updated with it as it ticks along.
Daily newspapers are courtesy of Cosgrove, Centra and Diner, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Join us this Friday on Around the Northwest with John Breslin, live from iMotors John Keane. Ready to order your 252 Kia or Nissan? Then get to iMotors from Thursday, May 15th to Sunday, May 18th. Explore the exciting new Nissan and Kia ranges. Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 12 to 4. Don't miss it.
iMotors, fearless generation.
With over 1,000 TFI local link door-to-door services nationwide, if you're on our route, we're on our way. To use the service, simply pre-book the day before you want to travel with your TFI local link office. To find out more about door-to-door services in your area, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're transport for you.
FBD doesn't stand for Friendly Business Ducks or Freelance Beatbox Department. FBD stands for support. We support businesses and communities across Ireland. Visit your local branch to talk to your FBD insurance team and see how we can support your business. FBD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. FBD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FBD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Ready to transform your smile? Discover the magic of Blue Poppy Dental in Letterkenny and Donegal Town. With implantologists, surgical and cosmetic dentists, orthodontists and an endodontist all under one roof, we've got all your dental needs covered. Starting your journey is easy. Call us on 074 91 20355 or book your appointment online anytime through our user-friendly patient portal at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
Join us this Thursday at the Cope Women and Menswear Department Dunlow for our Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy exclusive discounts, exciting prizes, refreshments and much more. It's our way of saying a big thank you to all our amazing customers. Celebrate with us this Thursday at the Cope Dunlow.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
the time's 9:19. Now, we've mentioned a couple of times this week on Garda Síochána, they were due to hold their Go Purple Day on Friday. It's a very important day and it will take place further down the line. It was to help raise awareness of domestic abuse. And as I say, it will be rescheduled, but it has been deferred, and quite understandably. It's as a mark of respect to the late Garda Kevin Flatley, and his funeral is actually scheduled now to take place on Friday. So Garda have deferred the Go Purple Day, so the coffee mornings and what have you that planned are off at the moment. But as I say, we'll keep you updated as to when that's rescheduled. Now, on programmes like this, and even perhaps specifically this programme, we talked all the time about broadband. Lack of broadband. There's not enough broadband. The National Broadband Scheme, when broadband is coming to my area. And the calls and texts tapered off to some extent, and I think that's because, to a great extent, a lot of people did get access to high-speed broadband, but that doesn't mean everyone has. And it can be really quite impactful on how you go about your day-to-day business, be it, domestic business or work business. A man with an insight into this, I think, is Oliver McBride, who is managing editor of the Fishing Daily. Good morning to you, Oliver.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Your experience in terms of, access to decent broadband is not good.
It's not good, really, no. For the past couple of years, I've been here in the RS Centre in Downings. People would know it as the Meaver Resource Centre. And, we don't have high-speed broadband here in the building. Yet now, if you look across the streets, a couple of months back, they were installing high-speed broadband in holiday homes and Airbnbs. So it is a little bit ironical to be actually a business in a centre where you think would have been high priority for high-speed broadband.
Is it about you hooking into it and a delay in that regard, or is proper high-speed broadband not available close to the business?
Well, what I was told was that the building was regarded as having high enough broadband speeds when the survey was done by the National Broadband Plan. And the building was excluded. Yet now there's high-speed broadband cables running outside the front door.
Mm. Yeah, and we often talk about download speeds, but with a business like yours, it's upload speeds that are important, I'd imagine.
Yeah, because we're uploading news and podcasts and different things. So, for example, you'd wait maybe 30 seconds for something to upload, whereas if you're on proper high-speed broadband, it would upload in maybe like 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's continually every day you're just losing ground and losing ground and losing ground. And then if you want to upload something larger like a podcast, generally in the wintertime, you're talking about maybe 40-45 minutes, where you could do it maybe 10 minutes with high-speed broadband. And then all of a sudden then summer comes along and you're back to ground zero where you don't have any broadband at all because there's so many holidaymakers in the area.
Yeah, the content ratio is designed for winter months, not the summer, clearly.
Yeah. It seems to be, yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, if you decide to drive to Letterkenny and go over Loch Salt, there's, broadband interfaces on poles all up that road, if you know what I mean, and a handful of houses. Like it's kind of weird, isn't it, to look on? So in terms of the resolution to this, do you need whomever's responsible for broadband to relook at this and tap you into the broadband that's clearly there? Or what do you see as the solution, Oliver, that gets you out of this mess?
Well, yeah, we definitely need broadband here as quick as possible. Like, it's summertime's coming. It's going to be a case of 2 o'clock comes in the afternoon and you're finished for your day because you can't do any more work. But also, like, we're looking at the situation where the question has to be asked: who made the decision not to have or allow broadband into such a centre? As you know yourself, this is quite a large building, and what the speeds are downstairs is going to be different to what the speeds are upstairs, because it has to go through the network. So the question has to be asked: who made a decision? Why did the National Broadband Plan decide to exclude certain buildings, and especially community buildings?
And just to be clear, is it definitely the National Broadband Plan? Because we do know that AIR took over quite a few chunks of the National Broadband Plan's original schedule, if you know what I mean. So is it AIR that did Downings, or was it the National Broadband Plan, I wonder?
Well, when I inquired about it, the answer I got was that the building was excluded, and I wasn't told at the time who.
Okay, right. Well, we can inquire in relation to that. It's crazy stuff. And just remind people where the building is.
It's basically more or less in the middle of Downings, between Casey's Caravan Park and the Downings Bay Hotel.
Yeah.
So it's in the town.
The cables run past your front door.
Cables run past the front door, yeah. Everybody else seems to be getting it, and we're sitting here like in the dark ages.
Yeah, I do feel bad. I feel guilty because I'm getting 1,000 down and 500 up, just up the road from you.
Yeah.
If you ever need to upload something, Oliver. Look, leave it with us. It doesn't make any sense, and I think this is an oversight, and it should be resolvable.
Yeah, and I just wonder, has any other place in Donegal or around the country been affected?
I don't think there's going to be many cases where a building is literally on. We've covered lots of this stuff, and you can see logic sometimes as there's always one extra house that you can't get to, or distance between a property and a pole, but it must run past you.
Well, what you call the manhole covers just outside the door, just beside the telegraph pole.
And what else is in that building, Oliver?
Well, there's 8 offices from what I can think of.
And you're all in the same boat? You're all in the same boat, no pun intended.
We're all in the same boat.
Okay.
Yeah. And came in here downstairs from me here. And there's like loads of classes and different events going on regularly here, so there's a lot of people in and out. And it's also got a GTEC hot seat hub.
Yeah.
So that's there as well.
And in terms of landline broadband, I might have missed this just a little earlier on, Oliver, because ironically we're having our own streaming issues here and I glanced over at them. Are you getting any up or down at the moment in using traditional broadband, or is it all mobile broadband you're using?
Well, it's just traditional landline broadband I'm using. Sometimes the actual using the hotspot on your mobile phone is actually better. Yeah. But in terms of you need a stable connection.
100%. Yeah.
So you want to be using the landline. So yesterday the speeds were download speeds were like 9.3 and upload speeds were like 8 point something. Okay. Yeah, this morning when I came in, it was at 7 o'clock, it was 11.4 download speed and 11.3 upload speed. And then just before 9 o'clock there, it dropped to 9.36.
Yep.
And 11. So it's on. Once people start coming in, it starts
100%. Okay. Well, listen, leave it with us. I suspect, I think it was AIR that I think Downings and Carrigal was part of the area that was originally on the National Broadband Plan, but then was taken over by AIR, because they cherry picked the areas, if you know what I mean. So, but either way, one more way or other, we'll try and get an answer to it and get some explanation. I know you guys pursue it yourself, but listen, the more of us that are asking these questions, the better chance we have of a resolution, Oliver.
Yeah, that's true, and the more people who's, as you say, the more people who's involved and asking questions, the quicker people react.
That's precisely it. The Fishing Daily, tell us a little bit about your publication.
We do online commercial fishing news for the Irish fishing industry and UK fishing industry, but we've sort of expanded over the past while because we found that we had a good market in Europe.
Okay.
So we have readers from Iceland, Norway, Spain, and everywhere. So I've constantly been adding little bits onto where we get our news from. So it's
sounds good. It sounds like an organic growth that you found audiences are finding you, and then you can tailor your product more to that expanding audience. It sounds great. Okay, listen, Oliver, obviously we'll be in touch if there's any advance. Thanks very much for that. Take care. Oliver McBride there, managing editor of the Fishing Daily. They're right smack bang in the middle of Downings, which does have fibre broadband, and fibre broadband going from Downings Carrigart out into the surrounding areas really quite successfully, but they seem to be right on the line of it and have been told that they can't access it, which makes no sense. And it's a busy office that Oliver is in there. Okay. And on the face of it, maybe, 10 years ago, 9 down and 7 up might have seemed middling, but in this day and age, especially if you're working in the media or anything that requires an up and download speed of a bit of certainty, that's no good at all.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today. Ensure the safety of your team with SafeTech. We have part-funded courses in first aid, people moving and handling, confined spaces, food hygiene, quad bikes, fire warden, IPAF MUPS, electrofusion, welding and machinery cards for Ireland and UK sites. Also delivering online courses like utilities, water hygiene and construction supervisors. SafeTech can deliver group training at your business premises. To find out more, contact safetech.ie today.
Ready to order your 252 Nissan? Then get to iMotors Letterkenny from Thursday, May 15th to Sunday, May 18th. Explore the exciting new Nissan range with cutting-edge tech, bold design and unbeatable value. We're taking 252 orders now. Your perfect car built your way. Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 12 to 4. Don't miss it.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Hip hip hooray! Hip and knee replacement surgery is now fully reimbursed by the HSE under the Northern Ireland Planned Healthcare Scheme. Learn how to access treatment faster at Kingsbridge Private Hospital's free cross-border drop-in information clinics, Thursday 15th of May 3 to 8 and Friday 16th of May 9 to 2 in the Community Centre and Library, Drumacrin, Bundoran. We'll book your initial consultation at our Ballykelly or Belfast hospitals. Guarantee you'll be seen within 7 days with surgery within 21 days. Why wait? Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com/cross-border to register your interest today.
30 years of magic, 30 years of passion, 30 years of unforgettable performances. Riverdance 30, the new generation, is coming to the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin for a limited anniversary tour. Join us on Thursday the 28th of August to experience the rhythm and pure magic of Riverdance, live in the city where it all began. Luxury coach transfers, overnight accommodation on a bed and breakfast basis at the 4-star Grand Canal Hotel in the heart of Dublin. Fantastic seats to the show and free time to explore all that Dublin has to offer. Spaces are limited. Don't miss out on your chance to witness this iconic and unforgettable show. Contact us today on 9125,000 or check out The Outlet on highlandradio.com to book your place now.
Okay, we're joined in studio now by Amir Gamil of the Letterkenny Islamic Association. Thanks so much for calling up and having a chat with us, Amir.
Thanks very much for having me, Greg. Really appreciate it.
Planning permission has been fully granted now for the construction of an Islamic cultural centre at Lisnenin in Letterkenny. Talk to me about the plans.
Yeah, so it's Amir Gamil, by the way. But
Sorry, what did I say?
No, or Gamil, but that's okay.
Okay,
It's common, no problem, no worries.
Understood.
Anyway, that's cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, so we have a plan, some plans there for a community centre. So it's going to be like an Islamic cultural and community centre. It's something that we've sorely needed, really, because although the centre that we have at the moment, we're operating a centre on the high road. It's been great to have it, and we're very grateful that we have it. But it's not meeting all the needs of the community, and so this is just something that we're looking to do to meet the needs of the community. And it's worth saying as well, not just the needs of the Muslim community here, but it's also intending to be like a community hub. It'll be like somewhere for really the whole community of Letterkenny. There'll be opportunities there for interfaith dialogue, for sports activities where we'd expect people of all faiths and no faith to get together and take part in sports activities there. We're already doing some community activities. We have a mother and toddler group that runs in our current centre, Tiny Roots, and it's running very well. And the people that attend that are a combination of Muslims, but also people of other faiths and no faith get together there. They bring their children and socialize and all that stuff. So so it will be a continuation of that kind of stuff.
So the plans include a main building, ground floor and first floor mezzanine, prayer hall areas, male and female. Are they separate? Are they?
Well, yes and no. So we have the male prayer hall on the ground level, and then we have the female prayer area for the privacy of the females, mainly for the privacy of the ladies.
That's normal, is it?
It's normal. It's normal
within the faith.
It is.
A coffee dock, sandwich bar area, offices, a meeting room, kitchenette, that type of stuff. So the plans, the plans have been approved. Planning has been approved.
Thank God.
In terms of funding, is the money there to begin the construction?
Well, no, not yet. We believe that God will provide. So we're,
but he's going to need a little bit of assistance.
Well,
right?
we have to do our part. We have to do our part. So God requires us. We believe that God requires us to do our part. And then if we make the efforts, then please God, He'll give us what we need. So,
how do you think you will go about doing that fundraising within the community?
Yeah.
Seek funding from the state? I don't know. What way do you plan on doing that if you've decided yet?
Well, I don't think state funding is really possible for this kind of construction, but community funding. So we'll be looking to mainly raise funds from within the Muslim community, obviously within here, Letterkenny and County Donegal, and other parts of Ireland as well. Anybody who generally people tend to want to take part in this kind of project and be generous. Yeah.
Do we know the size of the sort of Muslim population in Letterkenny now?
Well, I think the last census had the Muslim population of Donegal at like 800 and something, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. It's been a few years since, so it's grown a little bit since, I'm sure. But like with the Muslim population growing, as we do need a centre that would meet our needs. And as I say, it's not just for it's not just going to be just for Muslims anyway.
No, I understand that, but. And it's grand. It's okay to be a Muslim. You don't have to be defensive.
No, I'm not being defensive. I'm not defensive. I'm just making it clear that I'm just making it clear that it's going to be a place for everyone, not just for Muslims.
A lot of the narrative is that, and it's not unique to Donegal, but it's across the country, that there are people of different religions, different cultures coming into Ireland to take over effectively. That there's a plantation that will be a Muslim country in a generation. The kind of stuff that you hear. But by your figures, the Muslim community is actually really quite small in Donegal. It represents less than 1%. Even if it were 1,600, that still would be 1%. So the Muslim community in this county is quite small.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of sensationalist nonsense, right, that's out there. People sort of, beating the drum and all that kind of stuff. I think most people can see through that kind of nonsense. But yeah, it's just not true. As you say, the population is small. Of course, yeah, we're not we're proud to be Muslim. We're not being defensive about being Muslim or anything. But yeah, the population is small, and there's certainly no plantation going on. And yeah, I think this kind of stuff is just people looking to be divisive and just trying to sort of divide the communities and cause those kind of issues. I think, Donegal and Ireland in general has been beautiful in the way people have had really good community relations, and we've been happy. Muslims have been here for over 30, even over 40 years, and we've been living in harmony without issue. In that time, we don't want to see the kind of problems that you see over in England, and you get the feeling that some of these things are being imported. And really, when I say imported, I mean actually that people are actively importing these kind of things. But
just to tease out what you're saying there, you're saying that we can. There is already evidence and proof that the Muslim community, Christian community, non-religious community is integrating and has for generations in this country.
Absolutely.
And now you're saying this sort of rhetoric that we're hearing about the cultures being incompatible, etc. It's proven that they are, but this is just a line, a narrative that's being imported into this country from the likes of Britain.
Yeah, that's how it looks to us. I think like that kind of narrative that there's like a clash of civilizations and all that kind of stuff. That's just nonsense that's being imported. I mean, as like we were saying, we've been here for as Muslim community here 30, 40 years. We're a big part of this community. You have a large percentage of the workforce in the hospital. I think it's like a huge number of Muslim doctors
are from outside of Ireland, and I would imagine a large portion of those would be of the Muslim faith.
Absolutely. So I mean, I think if you walk through the hospital now, I mean, whenever I go through the hospital anytime, I'm seeing people I know all the time. You have a large Muslim population working in the hospital and contributing to that the success of that hospital. The hospital actually being able to function. Without the Muslim population there, it couldn't function. And that's not unreasonable to say that. And then also, in addition to the Muslim population in the hospital, you've got engineers, pharmacists, solicitors, business owners. We're all part of the community and contributing towards the community. We have volunteers, people who are doing volunteer effort. Like I said, we have the mother and toddler group and stuff like that. So we have, we're a big part and an important part of this community.
And just in relation to that, and look at, I come at things incredibly open-minded and try and see things for myself, genuinely for myself. If the truth be told, that we already are very well integrated, certainly in terms of school, work, healthcare, all different types of industries, because
Absolutely.
There are many Christian people and Muslim people sitting around the same desks today.
Yeah.
And then I suppose then when you hear sort of someone trying to describe that this is something new and that it won't work, if you take a step back, you have to say, well, it's kind of already happening, if you know what I mean, in terms of integration and what have you, to a great extent.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the way that some people talk about it as if we just turned up yesterday, but we've been around for ages. I mean, we're the current centre that we're in now, right, on the high road. It's called the Isa ibn Maryam Islamic Centre. So, that's Isa ibn Maryam. It's like Jesus, the son of Mary, we decided to name it that for a number of reasons. I mean, Jesus, for those who don't know, peace be upon him, is like a prophet in Islam, and he's like one of the most highly regarded and most important prophets in Islam. So we thought it would be good to name it that, so that people would understand the commonality, because a lot of people don't even understand the commonality between Christianity and Islam. And so we're all about that that interfaith and having those good community relations. So
I want to get to how things will work. I'm going to hold you because I'm going to take a break, but I want to ask you. So you live your life how you live your life. I don't really have a great insight into how you do, but I'm sure there are differences as to how a Muslim person might live their life compared to how a Christian person might.
Very similarly.
Okay, well, this is the question I'm going to ask you.
Eat, drink, work,
Yeah.
have family lives.
But that's, I mean, obviously then there are people who the same in Christianity that follow the rules of the church more closely, right?
Yeah.
But like when you've lived here for a long time, but if someone moves here and they're of a Muslim background, do they have an opinion on how Irish people live their lives, how Christians live their lives, how people dress, how people carry themselves? Is there an opinion within the broad church that is the Muslim community on that?
Not really. I think people just sort of like live and let live, so everybody kind of is concentrating on themselves. We're looking, we focus on trying to be the best versions of ourselves as much as we can. We all are imperfect. Perfection is for God alone. So, we're all just trying our best. And so really people just focusing on themselves, focusing on trying to be the best Muslim that they can be. And that means trying to be the best person they can be, trying in terms of, worshiping God. We believe in praying 5 times a day, and then everything we do, we believe is worship if you're doing it with the right intention. So if you're, working and your intention is good, and you believe that, you're working to try to, you're trying to raise, awareness on things. You're helping to provide for your family.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping the community. And if you're doing that for the right reasons with the right intention, then that can be worship. And so. And then in terms of and so everybody just kind of focusing on themselves really. So okay. I don't think what you mentioned there is really.
There's a lot of positivity coming in as well, and some other questions. I'm going to take a break. You're okay to stay with me just till 10, Amir? Okay,
sure.
We'll be back with more from Amir Gamil after we take this break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Do you have a job vacancy that needs filled fast? Tried everything but still no luck? Let Highland Radio's Job Spot do the work for you. We'll share your vacancies with 70,000 daily listeners in Donegal, Derry and Tyrone every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during prime time. Plus your jobs will be listed on highlandradio.com under our Job Spot section. It's fast, cost effective and reaches the people you need. Contact our advertising team today on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, delivering your message across the Northwest.
Our McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware. With stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre or online at ourmccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice whatever the occasion. Our McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
Us Irish like to think we know when something sounds too good to be true, like getting a quick and easy car insurance quote.
Come off it.
Plus great value cover.
You're joking.
From a trusted provider.
Pull the other leg.
And most of the time, we're right. But not this time. See for yourself at onpostinsurance.ie. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. One Direct Ireland Limited trading as An Post Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. One Direct Ireland Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of An Post. Best price online.
The Hyundai 252 offers event is happening this week. Discover the all-new Inster, 2025 World Electric Vehicle, and the Santa Fe, Women's World Car of the Year 2025. Explore the new Ioniq 5 and discover why Ireland loves the best-selling Tucson and award-winning Kona. The Hyundai 252 offers event happening this week.
Your local dealer is Divers Hyundai, Canal Road, Letterkenny. Call 91 22 600.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Get set for summer with all new arrivals dropping every week, from fashion to footwear and homeware to cosmetics. Discover more in-store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Okay, so the weather is grand. It's going to continue the same way for quite some time. Warm and sunny today. Highest temperatures of 17 to 22 degrees with a light to moderate easterly wind. So, Amir, a few people asking if the mosque will be doing the morning call for prayer. And that's not something I'm terribly familiar with. But anyway, that's the question.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's probably just worth mentioning that this is not just like a mosque. It's a community centre.
Of course, yeah.
There will be prayers going on there. Of course, we're planning to run the 5 daily prayers as we do in our current centre, and Friday prayers and stuff like that. Yeah, there's no plans at the moment to have the call to prayer being audible from outside of the centre. We don't have any plans for that right now. We're very conscious of making sure that while we have a place for the Muslim community and the wider community as well, we don't want to cause any issues for our neighbours.
No, and I think that was in the planning as well. Noise mitigation measures shall include identification and agreement of noise-sensitive locations and advance notice of significant noise generation activities to noise-sensitive locations. Now, that's not a direct reference to the call for prayer, but it falls under that as part of the planning, if I'm correct. I believe so.
I would say so. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Great news on the approval to proceed with the Islamic Centre in Letterkenny. Such a great community and such a great addition to the town. I've joined them after a day-long fast for Ramadan on a number of occasions, and there's such a welcoming atmosphere and fantastic food. It's great for this community to have a place to call their own. That's from Chris. Greg, congratulations to Amir and everyone in the Letterkenny Islamic Association. The new cultural centre is a wonderful and much needed addition to the Letterkenny community. I hope it'll become a space where people feel safe, welcome and connected. Great to hear Mr. Gamil and to get airtime for such an important part of our community. Thank you, Highland Radio, for highlighting this. Wonderful to have support for this community. So there is a lot of possibility, a lot of positivity coming in. I don't know if you expected otherwise, but anyway, there's been a lot of debate there. Do you have, in terms of people coming into this county, through IPAS centres or what have you as the way, do you have a role in engaging with them? I presume some of them are from the Muslim community as well. Does that form part of the community's work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything that we're doing is on a volunteer basis. But obviously there are people coming in as refugees or seeking asylum, etc. And we do help people where we can. Probably worth mentioning, by the way, I know that there's some concerns around that kind of thing in terms of immigration and stuff. We're, of course, in support of legal immigration, but of course we are against illegal immigration because, anything that's illegal is not correct. So
there is a presumption that, and I've tried to reference this as carefully as I can in the past. I've spoke to people who came to this country 10, 15 years ago, even more recently, and they do have concerns about immigration policy. They want a fair immigration setup, but they also recognise they're using the same services that could be under pressure or overburdened. Do you know what I mean? There's this presumption that everyone who isn't an Irish and white, if I could put it like that there, is pro open borders.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we're of the opinion, of the reasonable opinion, that immigration needs to be done properly and needs to be controlled. And we'd like to see, we understand that the government is under pressure with regards to things like immigration, but at the same time, we'd like to see them manage it a little better, and to help with, community relations and integration and stuff like that. But I think, again, going back to what we were saying earlier, a lot of this is people beating the drum and trying to be divisive. There's a lot of misinformation being spread about even about our centre.
It's really important people engage with whatever concerns them and make up their own mind.
Absolutely,
I think because.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with that. Everybody needs to make up their own mind, but I think part of the problem is that you have a lot of people putting in misinformation out there.
Yeah, but find out your own information is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? I think it's important to find out your own information. Maybe a conclusion will be the same, or most likely it will be different. Because I think sometimes, and I don't want to sound all woke and all that kind of stuff, the usual stuff people might put at you, but a lot of people need to realise that you are probably working with and integrating. I don't talk to anyone about my religion. It's just not something what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably engage with people all the time, and I'm sure I do, of different faiths and none.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's already happening. the big bad wolf is not the big bad wolf, it's your work colleague. Do you know that sort of way?
Absolutely. This is it. I mean,
or your doctor, or your consultant,
as
or
you say,
your IT specialist.
This is it. This is it.
Your
like,
labourer, or
this is it. Like, you know, people go in to the hospital. There's a massive chance they're going to be treated by a Muslim doctor, and you know, they'll take the treatment and hopefully get better. And if, you know, as we said, if those Muslims weren't there, they wouldn't get that treatment. And whenever you hear people talking about, you know, Dr. So-and-so, or say the business owner, they go into like a takeaway or something like that, and they say, oh, this person's so sound. They're you know, I get on the best with them. They're such lovely people and all that kind of stuff. That's what you hear from people. And so on a personal level, you hear those kind of things. But then, as I said, you have people beating the drum. And I think there's a responsibility as well for everybody to make sure, as you said, to digest information and make up their own minds. But there's also, I think, a responsibility for the media to call out nonsense when there is nonsense, you know. I mean, just to give you some examples, you know, like there's people that, you know, were spreading some misinformation about our centre, about why we chose the site that we chose and all that kind of stuff. And it's just nonsense, you know.
But I can't go chasing around. I can't. Firstly, that information wasn't platformed here, and secondly, I can't go chasing around what every Tom, Dick, and Harry says on social media and disproving it either.
No, that's not your responsibility. But I suppose
I am the media. You see, that's the point I was making.
No. I know that's not your responsibility. But what I'm saying, I suppose, is that, like, you know, some people may get like a platform and they sort of start, you know, spouting nonsense. So we just have to be careful of that. I think
for sure. So let's talk then about how quickly you hope these plans will progress now, because as you say, you know, the fundraising and what have you is, I presume it's already up and running and ongoing. Have you allowed yourselves to sort of think of a timeline in relation to this?
We don't know how long it'll take. Obviously, you know, we need to finalise the paperwork just around after, you know, having gotten the planning awarded. We're very grateful, thank God, that it did get awarded. In terms of like a timeline for construction, you know, we've no idea. You know, it's very difficult to know. A lot of it depends on being able to raise the funds, and, you know, a lot of other things. And as I say, we're really just doing it on a volunteer basis. You know, we're not experts in it either. So yeah, we're just kind of, you know, taking it as it comes.
It's going to be an interesting journey, I think.
It will be.
Challenging, but interesting.
It will be. But we're very grateful that it's happened. You know, it's going to be great to have a centre where the true message of moderate Islam is taught to children and adults alike. You know, we always believe in protecting children and adults from being radicalized, and that's the best way to do that is through education. So it'll be a great place for that kind of thing. And then, as we said, as a community hub for people to integrate even further and to have those positive community relations that we were talking about.
Yeah, indeed. And as you say, the idea is that whilst, of course, this is Letterkenny Islamic Association Centre, it is a cultural centre in Lissan and Letterkenny. It's with the aim of, you know, being for the wider community.
Absolutely. I mean, we're big believers in being part of the wider community. You know, we've done some work in the past with raising funds for the local food bank. Because that's, you know, the people in the food bank, they do an absolutely amazing job. It's sad that there even has to be a food bank at all. But there is one because there needs to be one. And the people there do great work. And, we supported them by raising funds for them in the past. And we'll continue to do things like that in the future as well. So, yeah, we're a big part of this community. And we love, you know, being here. Donegal is a great place to be. And we, believe very much in doing positive contributions for the community. We have done in the past and we'll continue to do so.
Okay, listen, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for calling up. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having
me. And the best of luck with everything.
Thanks very much, Greg.
All right, that is Amir Gamil, who is of the Letterkenny Islamic Association, just talking of the news that has been welcomed today by Amir, of course, that planning permission has been granted now for the construction of an Islamic cultural centre at Lisnanen in Letterkenny. It is the 9 till noon show. We'll be back with much more after the news at 10.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
A public service announcement from Donegal County Council. Did you or a family member from Donegal work in Scotland between 1940 and 1990? If so, you are invited to be part of the forthcoming Working Over By exhibition by recording a short video on your smartphone with your memories of that work and the working conditions. If you submit a video, you'll be in with a chance to win a return flight for 2 people between Donegal and Glasgow. Send your smartphone video by Friday, May 30th via WhatsApp to 087 360 3463. Full details are on the County Donegal Heritage Office website at donegalculture.ie. Donegal County Council, preserving the heritage of Donegal in partnership with the Heritage Council.
We carry those up long before the day breaks, who make our lives better, whatever it takes. And for those who need some extra assistance, we'll get you on board. We'll go the distance. With new electric vehicles, quiet and cleaner, our growing TFI network helps keep Ireland greener for the days of your life and the big nights out too. We're Transport for Ireland. We're transport for you.
All access to Audi is all yours with the 252 Audi range. Enjoy exhilarating test drives, exciting offers, introductory incentives, and exclusive product packs for a limited time during Audi All Access in dealerships nationwide. Discover all the advantages to owning a new Audi this summer. Terms and conditions apply. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
If you have a special occasion coming up, Watson Menswear stock a great selection of men's and boys' formal and casual wear. Top casual brands include Mishmash, French Connection, Tommy Bow and Penguin. Formal wear names include Rimozumo, Sixth Sense and White Label, with a special suit deal of a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie and shoes, all for only €299. Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. The Dáil has been told the amendment to the defective block scheme, which makes the increase in the cap agreed last year retrospective, could go through next week, but it's being held up by government bureaucracy. In Donegal earlier this week, Minister James Brown said he would expedite the amendments as quickly as possible, but in a response to a Sinn Féin topical issue in the Dáil this morning, officials said a number of other technical issues have arisen and the provision of a draft bill over the summer is being prioritised. But Donegal Deputy Padraig McLaughlin told Junior Minister Kieran O'Donnell that the official response is very worrying.
The people who wrote this were present in Donegal in recent days. They know the urgency of this. Now they're talking about adding other issues to the amendments. So this could go on forever. This is straightforward. It's a simple amendment to the legislation to make sure that the increase in the cap is available to everybody currently participating in the scheme. This is something that everybody agrees. If you honour what you said you were going to do last year, which is make it available to everybody currently going through the scheme, it will fly through the Dáil and the Shannon next week. Not a problem.
And you can listen to that full discussion, which also included Mayo TD Rose Conway-Walsh, on our website, highlandradio.com. The Dáil has been told issues which prevent the use of some stretchers on board the new Coast Guard helicopter service are being addressed. The Augusta Westland AW189 is used by Bristow Ireland Limited, the company which has won the contract to operate search and rescue missions and provide HEMS, Helicopter Emergency Medical Services. The new service is already in place in Shannon and becomes operational in Sligo at the end of the year. Minister Sean Canny says an issue has been identified in Shannon and steps are being taken to resolve it. He was responding to Donegal Deputy Patrick Gallagher, who told the Dáil that island communities in particular are very concerned.
There are concerns that stretchers may not, and I'll just say this, may not fit into the helicopters they have in the past. And if one has a heart attack or one has spinal injuries, of course a stretcher is absolutely essential.
In April of this year, BIL was notified by the IAA that the stretcher in use by Bristow was not yet fully certified for HEMS activity. This temporary HEMS stretcher restriction only applies to the Shannon base. I understand that Bristow has identified a replacement solution and expects to issue this shortly.
Pay and the cost of living are among the key issues expected to be addressed during the course of a 2-day conference of the Forza trade union members, which is taking place in Donegal. The union represents 30,000 health and welfare workers and 10,000 local government and services workers. Morale in the health sector is expected to dominate a large part of the conference. Media Relations Director with Forza, Niall Shanahan, says there is still work to be done for health service employees.
What we did see over the last number of years is a huge challenge with the retention of staff in the community and voluntary sector. We've seen an improvement now in the community and voluntary sector, but there is work ongoing in order to achieve pay parity with their public service colleagues, and that work is ongoing.
Police have made an arrest and seized suspected Class A drugs in Derry. The arrest and seizure were made at around 20 to 8 last evening during a patrol in the Spencer Road area of the Waterside. The suspected drugs were seized along with items of drug-related paraphernalia. A 22-year-old man was arrested. At least 18 people have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a hospital in Gaza. The Ministry of Health there also claims 70 others were injured when the European hospital was targeted yesterday. Israel says it hit a Hamas command centre beneath the complex in Khan Yunis. And 56% of domestic septic tanks inspected in Ireland last year failed, with the failure rate in Donegal sitting at 51%. Local authorities looked at nearly 1,400 tanks near rivers and household drinking water wells. 77 were inspected in Donegal. The figures from the Environmental Protection Agency also found 82% of failures between 2013 and 2024 were fixed by the end of last year. That figure was mirrored exactly in this county. EPA Programme Manager Noel Byrne says grants are available to help rectify issues.
So the level of grant available to householders now, if you fail a septic tank inspection, has gone from €5,000 up to €12,000, and really that will nearly cover all the costs unless you have a very big job to do on your site. And the requirement then to be pre-registered for that grant back in 2013 has been removed.
Weather forecast: warm and sunny today. Top temperatures 19 to 22 degrees Celsius with a light to moderate easterly wind. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news headlines at 11 o'clock. In the interim, check all the day's news on our website, highlandradio.com, including the full versions of those dull debates that we referenced in the news. And until 11, from the news team, have a very good morning.
The obituary notices this Wednesday morning, May 14th. The death has occurred of Victoria Vicky Ann Fullen, 24 Sesha Park, Castlefin. Vicky's remains will repose at her parents' home, 6 Castlin Court, Castlefin, from 4 o'clock today. Funeral from there on Friday morning at 11:30, going to St Mary's Church, Castlefin for Requiem Mass at 12 noon, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. Family time please from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. Mass can be streamed via the parish website. The death has occurred of Alec Grant, Dundrainburn Foot. Removal from Murphy's funeral home at 12 noon today, going to his late residence to repose from 1 p.m. Wake is private to family and friends only, please. Removal from there tomorrow at 10 o'clock to St Mary's Church, Cockhill for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place in London of Bregin Thusby Pelham, ní Doherty Hutton, formerly of Millbrae Buncrana. Remains are reposing at McLaughlin's funeral home Buncrana from 5:30 to 8:30 on Saturday. Funeral removal from there on Sunday morning, going to St Mary's Church, Cockhill for 11 a.m. Mass with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has occurred of Peter McHugh, 8 Camas Park, Strabane. Peter's remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there this morning at 10:15, going to the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass with interment afterwards in Strabane Cemetery. The death has taken place of Myra Lynch, ní McDade, 25 Pennyburn Court, Derry. Requiem Mass is ongoing at St Patrick's Church, Pennyburn. Interments afterwards in the city cemetery. The death has taken place of Annie McCallion, ní Harper, 8 Melmount Villa, Strabane, and formerly of Claddagh, reposing at her home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 9:20 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Melmount at 10 a.m, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Hey mate, how's all in Oz? No crack here, just it's 2:30 in the morning. An early night these days. I'm not partying, I just can't sleep. Tomorrow will be fun.
Trouble sleeping, low mood, stress and feeling anxious can all be signs you should check in with your mental health. For support that can help, use the My Mental Health Plan tool at yourmentalhealth.ie from the HSC.
Welcome back to the second hour of the 9 till noon show. It's wonderful weather here from the northwest of Ireland. If you're listening to us on the radio or your smart speaker in the area, you'd know fine rightly. If you're listening to us abroad, and many of you do, in far-flung areas, I'm sure you're missing the county even more so today because the weather is just so beautiful. Thanks so much for all your calls and comments coming in over the course of the morning. And I'm just reading them as they're coming in here. Really encouraged to hear the discussion about the new Islamic Centre this morning. It's a great step forward for inclusion, understanding and community development. Thanks for giving space to such an important conversation. We certainly must encourage understanding and inclusion at a time when some are trying to divide us. That comes in from Kelly. Muslims are one of the groups that contribute to building modern Ireland, including doctors, engineers and workers that support building a mosque of their own, says another. Muslims in Ireland are peaceful and have no fear of building their own mosque. Just dropped one here, 1 second. Hello, the name of the mosque celebrates the love to Jesus, Marilyn Arabic and Irish Isa Mariam, that iterates the spirit of the mosque. Many thanks for your kind support for our Mased project that we extremely need in Letterkenny. Highly appreciate your kind help. That comes in from Dr. Sami. Thank you for the debate. The mosque is a good place for our children and women to socialise and meet. How many Muslims in IPAS scheme in Donegal, as there appears to be a lot more African and Asians in Letterkenny than 800 people. Now, he's talking about the Muslim community as of the census, which wouldn't necessarily count the people that you talk of. I don't know the religious background of those seeking international protection here, but the figure at the moment is 2,000. Now, they could be from any country. So if it was 800 plus 2,000, 2,800, that would be the total if you counted absolutely everyone as Muslim that's either a Muslim person living here for probably, in some cases, all of their life or much of their life, or 10 or 15 or 5 or 10 years. But the amount of IPAS applicants, which are a different group of people but may share the same religion, there's 2,000 of those. So as I say, if all of them were practicing Muslims, the total would be 2,800. Maybe you might think that's too many, or maybe you're surprised that that's the total. I don't know. It's up to you guys. An Islamic community centre would have a brilliant contribution to enriching the culture of Donegal, believes another listener. Can we ask him his opinion of Muslim men wanting to marry 9-year-old girls? Are our daughters going to be at risk? I didn't get an opportunity to ask that question. If that's a worthwhile question, just to clarify, I think it's well worth asking that question down the line, so do leave it with me. But I don't know the ins and outs of that. I'd have to look into that. Great to hear such an important part of our community getting some airtime. Well done, coming in from Paul. Hi, Greg. I'm just listening to that guy there about an Islamic centre in Letterkenny. What's wrong with this country? Do people not know that if they went to a Muslim country, they would not be allowed to practice their own faith, never mind build a centre? I don't know what the story is there. How do Christians operate in the likes of Dubai? I believe that's a Muslim country as well. Is there any places of worship? Do you know anyone over there? I don't know what the ins and outs of it are. Good luck to the Muslim community with their mosque. That comes in from Thomas Pringle. How do Muslims treat women and what do they think of them? I suppose it's like everything. It's like Christianity. How do Christians treat women? I presume there's variants of it. I mean, you'd have some Catholics who would believe that, say, for instance, abortion is healthcare and that women are entitled to choose to have an abortion, as an example. And then you'd have some Catholics and Christians that believe that it's the worst thing ever and they're murdering children. So I presume the same as there is in Christianity, just giving that one example about attitudes to women. You have to remember too that, we kind of need to up our game in how we all treat women. I think look at the domestic violence figures, look at the inequality in the workplace, look at the wage disparity in this country. If we're going to look at how women are treated, Look at the difficulty a woman has in simply getting elected in this county, as an example. You know, if we're going to look at that, we kind of have to look across the whole spectrum as well. I'm not saying we're bad, they're bad, she's bad, they're bad. I'm just saying, you know, every religion has different attitudes to women, and every culture really probably is guilty of mistreating women, I think. Probably get shot for that, but anyway. 800 Muslims in Donegal, and they need their own community centre. How many Protestants and Presbyterians who are part of the community have their own dedicated centre? I think there's orange holes in pretty much every town that I'm aware of. Certainly when I was growing up, there was in Lahey, there's lots of people of the Protestant Presbyterian faith, and they had effectively their own community centre. So I think that's pretty common, unless just let me reread the text in case I've missed something. 800 Muslims in Donegal, and they need their own community centre. How many Protestants and Presbyterians who are part of the community have their own dedicated centre? I think all of them. Am I wrong, Caroline? Would you see, like, Orange Halls and what have you, are community centres, aren't they? They're not religion specific, but they are basically, yeah. The Presbyterian halls, so there are, yeah. No, that's there are lots of spaces that are not specific for, but are designed for members of the two communities that you mentioned. Greg, integration. I have a man staying here in my lodgings from Sudan. He's praying night and day. He won't use toilet paper. He's playing Islamic TV night and day and doesn't like pork in the fridge. He's a nice man. We've no issue with him, to be honest. We saved him from homelessness, but he's not doing much in the way of integration. And before you say he's only just landed, no, he hasn't. I don't know how long he's been here, but he's qualified for the housing list in HAP. Why would I say he's only just landed? Okay, that's fine. I mean, again, if I move to Dubai to become a teacher, I'm not going to sit watching local telly. To be honest with you, I'm going to be watching RTE and I'm going to be listening to Highland Radio, and I probably will use toilet paper. I generally do, and I'm probably not going to eat much of their local food. Someone close to us was over in Greece recently and ate nothing for a week but crisp sandwiches. A full week of eating crisp sandwiches, Aaron. That's for you. So, you know, we like. Some people don't like the local food, but anyway, okay. I'm just trying to be look at this, you know, with open eyes. I'm not trying to counter your point of view. Please, I hope you don't feel that. Congratulations to the Muslim community on their achievement. I wish you all the best in raising the funds to complete your project, which sounds like it will be a positive and beautiful contribution to the community, and it will if they follow through. If the commitment to sort of make it this open space and welcoming space, and for the wider community, if that is done, then it may well be. If it's not, it might feel different. Let's see. More state propaganda, the Islamification of Ireland. Look around the world, UK especially, they don't mix. The grooming gangs in the UK committed mostly by Asian men, but not exclusively. I take your point. I don't know what the Islamification of Ireland really is. I know, like, say, for instance, in England, and I've referenced this before, you have the Vice President of the United States said that Britain would become the first Islamic country to have, or the first Muslim country, to have nuclear weapons. I think the terminology was. I don't know really the size of the population and where it's going, but I think, you know, people have that concern, and if you see a massive cultural shift, and we do see it in pockets, it is creating problems. You know, there are cultural clashes. There's just no doubt about that. We see it in a local town level. We can see that. Not necessarily Muslims, but people of different cultural backgrounds. And could you see that on a nationwide basis if there is sort of mass inward migration? I'm not saying that couldn't happen either. Right, keep your views and comments coming in. 08660 25,000.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday, the 14th of May. You're playing on the blue sheet for the daily prize of €600. The reference number is S18. It's game number 20. The numbers are 11, 12, 65, 87, 7, 86, 88, 75, 71, and finally 44. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Make real summer savings at Super Value. Like Super Value Fresh Irish Pork Loin Roast, now half price. Pick up fresh fruit such as Orange Net 5-piece, 79 cent each. Scan your Real Rewards card or app and get Bold 2-in-1 57 wash selected range, now €8. And Water Wipes 9-pack by 40-piece, now €16. Make real summer savings at Super Value.
Higgardy's Home Interiors in Buncrana is hiring a full-time furniture delivery driver, €32,000 to €38,000 per year. Responsibilities include nationwide deliveries, careful handling and assembly of furniture, and warehouse support. Applicants must hold a clean Irish driver's licence, be fluent in English, physically fit and customer focused. 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week with some overtime and weekend work. Immediate start available. Apply via email info@higgardys.ie or drop your CV in store. Join a trusted brand with 70 plus years of excellence.
Crawford Tile Spring Seal now on in our bathware department. Back to wall toilets, €199. 12 by 900 slider door, end panel and tray, €699. Wall hung vanity units and basin, €399. All in stock and ready to go. Crawford Tiles Castlefin on 9143942.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Okay, in studio with me now is Adam McGranahan, who's Sports Development Officer at the Donegal Sports Partnership. Adam, good morning to you. Thanks so much for calling up.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Did you cycle up?
I did not, but I should.
Today's Cycle to Work Day, and
it is.
You're not at work, so that's great.
I'm not at work.
And it's part of Bike Week. So what's the idea behind Bike Week, Adam?
Yeah, so Bike Week, it's a national celebration of cycling. It's funded by the National Transport Authority, and it runs right across the country. So the main goals of Bike Week would be to get more people out on their bikes, whether that be for fun, for fitness, or for active travel. It's just about showing people how accessible and enjoyable cycling really can be. So it's funded by the NTA, and that funding then comes through Donegal County Council and then ourselves at the Sports Partnership to coordinate that funding.
Is it a good way to get fit? Because I suppose, lots of people maybe street running, what have you, get trouble with their knees,
Exactly.
their hips or what have you. Cycling would be classed as low impact exercise or a low impact way of getting around, I presume.
Oh, exactly. That's it. It's you get to where you want to go a lot quicker than running or walking for sure. It's a great way to stay healthy. Like as you said, it's low impact. A lot of people that would be injured from running and stuff, you would see them
switch
through
to
time
cycling
switch to cycling or swimming for that matter. Yeah.
Okay, and the obvious question too about cycling in our county and even in the towns and Letterkenny, for an example, is the infrastructure.
Yeah.
We are making inroads, and I think that's part of the, when we talk about active travel, it can be controversial as it's being introduced, okay? But the whole idea is that into the future for the next generations, current generations, that, cycling becomes a viable, safer option to get around, particularly in the urban areas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I suppose in Donegal we're blessed that we have such a scenic county, and bike is a great way to get around and see the county, especially with, as you say, the work that's ongoing with the greenways. There's a great greenway network coming together in the county. So through time, I think we're going to see that it is going to be a good way of getting around. And
some counties have really they have a march on us in terms of the fantastic tourism potential. Cycling. Yeah. It's huge, it's absolutely huge. Yeah. Mayo, I think, in particular. And no coincidence, the former Taoiseach was from Mayo, and he was able to invest quite a bit in that regard. But it's, if you build it, they'll come. And we are making some good inroads in terms of greenways. There's lots of events going on around the county as well. Lots of different organisations and community groups involved. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have over 65 events happening across the county this week. There's something different for everybody. We have family cycles, you have taster sessions from the cycling clubs, community bike rides, school initiatives, with bike maintenance workshops, and then we have some inclusive cycling programs for people with additional needs as well.
Well, that's it, because, cycling can be inclusive too.
Course,
there's different ways to interact. It's you might need an extra wheel or what have you, or someone with you, but everyone can enjoy cycling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, most people can enjoy
absolutely.
cycling.
So yeah, we've been lucky enough. We have the likes of Grassroots that can provide ability bike hire and things like that. So we have a lot of community groups and stuff that for when they're doing their events, they're taking in a couple of extra ability bikes just to give that option there if there's anybody with additional needs, that we can be inclusive as much as
And also,
possible.
it's worth checking out, in some of the places that you like to go. Often you can hire bikes. I know in Ironmore, for instance, you can hire bikes, e-bikes in Downings. That if you want to call down there and cycle the Atlantic Drive, they're I'm not picking any out in particular. They're just the ones I'm aware of. So you can go out and have that experience and have a taster by hiring bikes as well. Some of them are electric as well. If you need a bit of assistance up the hills, like there's many different ways to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have, for this week, is a great week to do that. We have an initiative running with Grassroots in Glenveigh and e-bikes in Downings.
There you go.
That's
how good I am. I get it right. I get it right by accident.
We are working with them to provide places for free bike rental for the week. So Grassroots, they're offering pedal bikes, e-bikes, and ability bikes, and then e-bikes and Downings, they're offering e-bikes as well to explore the local areas there. So you couldn't think of two probably better places.
The worst week to give away stuff for free. Hey, but you know what I mean? We'll take it when it's there. And there's lots of stuff going on, too numerous for us to actually mention because there's 60 events and it's ongoing at the moment. And there's a website actually really that has lots of details about this, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. Our website, activedonegal.com, we have the list of all the events on there. And then if you check our socials as well, we're Donegal Sports Partnership on Facebook and Instagram. So all the details are on there.
And I think too, some basic stuff. Get out there, enjoy it. Wear your helmet.
Absolutely.
Wear your high vis. Use the greenways or the cycle lanes when available, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's it. A big mention as well to all the clubs and schools and the community organisations that are working to make these events possible. Without them, it wouldn't be happening. So big fair play. And as you say, anybody interested in getting involved, it's the perfect week to go for it. The weather's brilliant. It's given it all week. There's events for everyone happening out there. There's no need for big fancy gear. Have a look at the website, see what might suit you, and come on out and give it a go.
Exactly. And if you're out and about in different modes of transport, just keep an extra eye out for people that might be out enjoying a cycle, and maybe it's the pathway to get fit. Maybe that is the way that they feel they can best improve their physical and indeed, of course, their mental health. So go to activedonegal.com/bike-week-2025. Though if you go to activedonegal.com, I'm sure there's a link there. Get out and enjoy yourself. And also too, there's still that back to school cycle to work scheme that's out there as well too. If you get the bug and you have you're employed, you can benefit in that regard too. Hi Greg, could you ask what they have available for children with additional needs in relation to Bike Week? That's all up on the website. As you mentioned, there are initiatives in that regard too, aren't there? And I think you mentioned some of the taster sessions with the companies you mentioned. There's accessible bikes in there as well. Okay, so check out activedonegal.com. Adam, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Okay. It is the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. Let's take a quick break and we'll be joined by our next guest after.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
This month, Foy's in Ballybuffet and Letterkenny are having a massive display clearance sale. We're making room for new arrivals with incredible discounts on display furniture, including sofas, dining room furniture, bedroom furniture and more. It's your chance to grab top quality furniture at unbeatable prices. With the largest showrooms in the Northwest, Foy's is the place to shop interiors and paint. Foy's, where the best deals are waiting for you.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why. The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €4 million. Play responsibly in store, in app, or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Looking for the ultimate school tour destination? Discover the largest family entertainment complex in the Northwest, Century Complex. Dive into fun with our soft play area, conquer the indoor crazy golf and enjoy a private cinema experience with packages available. Call 07491 21976 to book your adventure today.
Make more meals for less with Dunnes Stores, where you'll save on ingredients to make delicious hot dogs. That's an 8-pack of Irish pork sausages, just €1. Cooked in a pan before serving in buns, 6 for just €1.10. Delicious with your favourite toppings. All from the Dunnes Stores range. Plus, you can save at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
Joe Gallagher Entertainment presents Taylor Fever, the ultimate tribute to the sensational Taylor Swift, is making its way to the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny on Sunday the 18th of May. Hear iconic hits such as Ready For It, Shake It Off, Cruel Summer, Karma and many more. Tickets on sale from hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie.
Print Supplies and Frosses delivers managed print solutions that save you time and money. With remote servicing and local support, we take the hassle out of printers and photocopiers. Stay efficient, stay supplied. Email sales@printsupplies.ie today. Print smart, save money, trust local.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Just to remind you of the contact details, 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. And as I say, thank you so much for all of your calls and comments coming in so far this morning. Sean Quinn, our head of sales here, is going to be joining us shortly. We have a nice wee thing that we've done before and we're going to be doing again, and it is Community Heroes, the Community Hero Awards. That's coming up for you very, very shortly. Right, congratulations to the Muslim community on their achievement. I wish you all the best in raising the funds to complete your project, which sounds like it will be a positive and beautiful contribution to the community. Another caller says, Time Sinn Féin acknowledge the dream of United Ireland is over. The traditions, culture, politics and demographics of this country will alter beyond recognition from the ideals of Pearse and Connolly in the next few generations, as the native Irish abortion rate soar and the population is replaced by people coming into the country. Yeah, that is the view. Hi again, Greg. There are Christian churches in Palestine, at least those which haven't been bombed yet by Israel. The late Pope Francis testified to this with his nightly calls to the Christian community in Gaza. And just in relation to that, churches and synagogues are allowed in Muslim lands, but not in Arabia. Christians make up the largest religious minorities in just about every Muslim country. And before the state of Israel, some of the largest Jewish communities in the world were in places like Iran, Yemen and North Africa. There never was an Orange Hall in Letterkenny, Ballybofey and Stranraer, despite these towns having a considerable Protestant population. Okay, wasn't aware of that. When are you going to officially become Muslim, Greg? I think just by speaking to people of different backgrounds. That's like saying, if I spoke to a woman, when am I going to become a woman? Not ruling anything in or out, but certainly no time soon. Hi, Greg. I listened back to Sinead Black interview and the other guest who was on with you discussing Darkness into Light and Pieta House. Fabulous interview, and my heart went out to her. I wish her all the best for the future. Well, Sinead's in a great place at the moment, and she was very keen to want to mention the fact that, you know, and when you're working with your mental health, it's always a work in progress, but Sinead's in a really good place at the moment because she got the right help from the right person at the right time. So all good for Sinead at the moment, as I say. Muslims don't agree with homosexuality. This question should have been asked. I know many Christians don't agree with homosexuality either. There's a lot of people wanted a more conservative Pope elected to follow Pope Francis, so the Catholic Church would be more firm on its views against homosexuality. If you were to go to a Muslim country, you would be treated very well. The leader in Oman, where I spent years, built us the most beautiful church. He actually paid for our organ in the church as we couldn't afford it. The people are lovely. Oman is very close to the United Arab Emirates. Okay, right. Sean Quinn, Majin Y, thank you so much for calling in. How are you keeping?
I'm good, Greg. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to adjust this camera if you don't mind.
You're going to try and get me a good sight here, are you?
No, just trying to get your head in.
Trying to get me.
Right, okay. We're having issues streaming to Highland Radio. Can they not go to YouTube, watch on YouTube? It's just that Facebook stream's not working today, and it's just the day where people want to tune in and want to watch what we're talking about here. We are streaming live on... I'll tell you what I might do. I'll take a break. I'm going to stop this stream and restart it again because our link to Facebook is not functioning as it should. So I'm going to stop this stream. If you're watching, my apologies. Blame Caroline. And then we'll restart the stream after the break.
The 9 till noon